this is the season of the session where everyone is dashing around like mad. If you were to be down here, you'd see delegates running up and down the halls between the House of Delegates, their committee room, their other small hearing rooms, and then eventually you will see them rushing up the steps or taking the elevator up to the State House where we vote. Then a few minutes later we come rushing back to the State House, vote some more on bills, and get them over to the House of Delegates so that they can then be passed over to the Senate. So this is what we refer to as end of session madness. And if you can get down here at this season, don't expect to see your delegate, but do expect to see a lot of frenzy. This is the time when bills come and go. Some of them pass, some of them don't, but it is the end of session frenzy where if you do have an interest in a bill, please get down here or call and write and let people know about it. Now, that being said, I'd like to talk to you a bit about concussions. I know this sounds strange, but I have told you I am in the Health and Government Operations Committee. And concussions are a problem that are ongoing, and where the bill particularly addresses concussions in children in sports. Nobody wants kids to stop playing sports. They really don't. It's good for kids, it's good for the schools, and they enjoy it. But I am going to take a minute and read to you some of the symptoms of concussion. The biggest problem happens if a child has had a concussion and is put back into play immediately with a bit of looking over the symptoms that might happen that could cause a worse concussion. After one, you're more likely to have two, and that second concussion in a child can occasionally be deadly and can, if it not deadly, will lead to much greater symptoms that take a longer time to recover. Now, what I'm going to do is read a few of the symptoms of concussion. And it doesn't have to be in school sports. A kid can be playing in the backyard, can be falling off a horse, can be running down a field and hit a goalpost. So here goes. For the person who's looking over the child, the person appears stunned or dazed and confused and not quite sure where they are and forgets an instruction. Keep that in mind. They're unsure of what the game score is or even who their opponents are. They move in an awkward fashion. You know, a kid who's usually swift suddenly start kind of bumping around and not keeping their arms and legs coordinated. They answer questions very slowly. There's a comprehension problem. They suddenly may become grouchy or, as we could say, weird, just not acting like themselves. They cannot recall the events that occurred right before they were hit. That's a really important sign, and they cannot eventually even begin to remember other things that happened just prior to that earlier in the day. Now, for the kids who may have fallen down, been hit in the head, run into something, fallen off something, this is what the kid will feel. A bit of a pressure in their heads, nausea, stomach ache, may actually even vomit, dizziness, big sign, dizziness, double vision, blurry vision, sensitivity to light, that's a big one. If the light hurts your eyes right after you've had a big head bump, possibility of concussion. If they feel sluggish, kind of lazy, don't feel like moving. If they have concentrations, like if you can't remember anything from a minute ago, confusion, and for many young people it's called, I just don't feel right. That child should not be playing for the rest of the game. The bill says they need to have a good analysis, the coaches need training, parents need to have some training, and the children themselves need to be aware. So this summer, when everybody's tearing around having great times in holiday places or going back to summer school or having early team practice, keep concussion in mind. Early treatment, withdrawal from the activity for a while, can save a child from years-long problems with concussion. That's going to be the end of this particular session. Sorry to be long. This is Delegate Karen Montgomery, District 14. Thank you very much.